Will some Americans flee the United States if Trump is re-elected?
Brandon, you're fired.
And I have an idea on where they might be heading. The American people are gearing up for one of the craziest elections in US history. A showdown between a geriatric career politician who can't remember what he had for breakfast, representing the woke culture of the United States, and a geriatric, potentially criminal rich kid 2 French fries away from cardiac arrest, represented by Kanye West.
Make America straight again.
Seems legit, right? So what exactly is happening in the United States? A country where conspiracies used to be a thing of the far left during the George W. Bush administration and now have swung all the way to the far right. Are we actually in some sort of Twilight Zone hologram where the creator is just laughing at us? Sometimes it sure feels that way. This is some guy named Dave in Portugal, and I moved to Portugal about 2 years ago because I was partially fed up with the way things were going in the United States. Now, I am a registered independent in the state of Nevada because I just don't buy into the red versus blue bullshit. All I see is a bunch of career politicians that tell you what you want to hear and then go play golf. Biden says he was gonna build back America better, and Trump said he was gonna drain the swamp. But Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi are both still there, and nothing has been drained except for the golf ball that Trump kicked in while no one was looking. And it is my opinion that if Donald Trump escapes jail and wins the presidential election of 2024, a lot of people will be looking into moving to Portugal. And here are some of the reasons why.
Now, some of the best parts about
Dave.
John Lennon?
Yes, it's John Lennon.
What are you doing here?
What the are you doing, Dave? Getting people all freaked out with your freaky politics and
I mean, I'm just trying to be funny. I'm not trying to, offend anybody or anything.
If I would have known America didn't have very good gun control, I would have never came.
Damn, that's dark, John.
Too soon? Anyway, Dave, can you stop with the Portugal content?
Stop with the Portugal content. I'm Dave in
The
Portugal.
poor Portuguese people have had the English people come in there since the Windsor Agreement, and now they don't need some damn Yankees coming bringing the NFL.
Sorry, John, I had no idea.
But can you blame the English? Nobody wants to live in England anyway.
Yeah, I certainly don't.
You got a fucking problem with England, bruv.
No. I love England. I love Led Zeppelin and, Black Sabbath, all that stuff.
Anyway, Dave, I like your content. Maybe think about changing it to Dave in Bulgaria.
Dave in Bulgaria?
Anyway, man, I need to go back in the sky with Lucy. Ciao.
Thanks for stopping by, John. Say hi to George for me.
For people that are sick of the political perspective in the United States, Portugal may offer a little bit of relief. When it comes to elections, the United States uses a winner-takes-all electoral system for presidential elections, while Portugal employs proportional representation in its parliamentary elections. As of my knowledge, updated in September of 2021, Portugal's parliament, known as the Assembly of the Republic, has 230 seats. Now, one of the things that I hear a lot in Portugal is that this type of government takes a very long time to do anything. Now, both countries have multiple political parties, but Portugal has a more diverse landscape with several parties holding seats in its parliament. In the US, the 2 major parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, dominate the political scene. This makes a lot of Americans very frustrated because it seems like people in the independent parties have no chance of getting elected in the United States. And this is very frustrating, I think, for a lot of people that just don't fall into the broad scheme of their political party. I am one of those people. I just believe there is so much more nuance and depth that it's hard for me to choose an entire political party just because that's the only choice. I think a lot of people in the United States are frustrated because they're forced to choose a lesser evil.
And it doesn't help that the media in the United States are favoring stories that are more entertaining versus the more important issues. Many news sources are heavily partisan based, and it's hard to find news sources with balanced coverage so you can see the full picture. But luckily today's sponsor, Ground News, is a website and app that allows you to compare local and international news headlines, and this is definitely something you need to know about. Ground News uses 3 different independent news monitoring organizations to show you exactly where publications fall on the political spectrum based on a bias rating system. Let me show you how it works with this article about Biden targeting Trump's extremist movement. As you can see, there are 89 total news sources reporting on this story. Down below, you can see in the bias distribution that 43% of the sources are in the center. So if you read from right-wing publications, you may miss out on this story. Since this is a story about Trump, let's take a look at this comparison feature to see if the framing is different. The left focuses on the Trump movement as an extremist threat to US democracy, and the right focuses on Biden personally attacking Trump's character. If you want to read deeper into these articles, you can filter left, center, and right stories. And beside every article, you'll see a factuality rating, meaning how accurate this news source is, as well as who owns the media source. The level of transparency this offers at a glance is a game changer. And no matter where you are in the world, you can switch your editions to stay fully informed. Navigating through the media can be intimidating, especially during election times. Go to ground.news/Dave for 30% unlimited access to benefit from this level of analysis to become smarter news consumers. Now, back to the video.
Now let's touch on healthcare and social welfare. Portugal has a universal healthcare system that provides comprehensive coverage to its citizens, while the United States relies on a mixed system with a combination of private and public healthcare options, which can vary significantly depending on income and employment status. Now, one thing I will say is this: in the United States, for the most affordable insurance, it is around $450 to $500 for a very basic insurance that really isn't accepted in many places. I had this insurance when I lived in the United States, and honestly, it was a complete nightmare. While there is a stark contrast here in Portugal, I have a very premium insurance that completely covers everything and is accepted everywhere, and I pay about 85 euros a month. There are public sectors that are completely free, and most of the emergency services, like if you are having a heart attack or a life-threatening surgery, are covered within this public sector. In terms of social safety nets, Portugal offers a more extensive range of social services, including paid parental leave, unemployment benefits, and a stronger safety net for low-income individuals, while the United States has a less comprehensive social safety net. Now, people in the United States on average definitely make a lot more money than people in Portugal, but a lot of this is relative because the cost of living is right up there with it. But people in Portugal have much more paid time off than the people in the United States, and it is mandatory. Now, this area is probably one of the biggest stark contrasts between the United States and Portugal, and that is gun control. The United States has relatively permissive gun laws, with the right to bear arms enshrined in the Second Amendment of the Constitution. In Portugal, gun ownership is more tightly regulated. It is certainly possible to own a gun in Portugal, but it is usually limited to hunters and people in the more rural areas. Now, a lot of Americans think that there are just no guns in Europe, but that is just not true. Police do have guns here in Portugal, and the neighboring country, Spain, makes some of the best sporting rifles in the entire world. Now let's talk about foreign policy. The United States is a global superpower with an extensive foreign policy reach, while Portugal, as a smaller nation, often aligns itself with the broader European Union's foreign policy initiatives. And because of this, the Portuguese passport is allowed in some countries, the United States one isn't. You could argue that you wouldn't want to go to some of these countries anyway due to safety, but you never know. First and foremost, Portugal is known for its incredible quality of life. With its stunning landscapes, vibrant culture, and Mediterranean climate, it offers a lifestyle that's very different than many parts of the United States. And a lot of these places in the United States would be very, very expensive to live in compared to Portugal. For instance, I live in wine country about 20 minutes from the beach. Whereas in the United States, any region like this would be probably one of the most expensive places in the entire country. But here it is comparable to living in the more lower cost areas in the United States. Now, this is another huge contrast from the United States, and that is safety. Safety is another huge factor. Portugal is generally considered a very safe country with low crime rates, which can be appealing to those seeking a secure environment. Portugal has repeatedly been featured as one of the top 10 safest countries in the entire world. Portugal is a very peaceful nation with very little enemies, and I don't see any military strikes happening in Portugal anytime soon, and that's definitely reassuring. For those interested in history and culture, Portugal's rich heritage and welcoming communities offer an enriching cultural experience. Learning a new language and immersing oneself in a different way of life can be personally fulfilling. Portugal is one of the oldest countries in all of Europe, and it is amazing how many things are jam-packed into this tiny country. It just feels like an endless amount of rich cultural history. Now, the idea of relocating to Portugal or any country due to political developments is a very complex one. People move for various reasons, and it's important to consider all aspects of such a significant decision. Remember, change and exploration can be transformative experience, but they are not exclusive to any particular political climate. If you do end up coming to Portugal, make sure that you respect the culture that's been here for a very long time. This is some guy named Dave in Portugal, and if you want to see more videos about Portugal, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button because I'll be posting videos every single week on this channel. We'll see you next time.